Hello, my name is Linda and welcome to our music theory sessions. These lessons are for all musicians who wish to learn how to further their musical literacy. These sessions will help you learn how to read music, understand chord progressions, and so much more. Each session is very important, so don't disregard the simplicity of some of the sessions. They are the foundation upon which further musical concepts will be built on. Missing one can have a negative impact on your understanding on future theory concepts. So, get a notebook and a pencil or your electronic device and let's get started. Today's session is going to be about the musical alphabet. Now you might be saying, well, I already know my musical alphabet. True, but we are going to be focusing on the musical alphabet. And the musical alphabet only has 7 letters. A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. And these are the 7 letters of the musical alphabet. After we finish G, the next note would definitely not be H. There is no H in music. There's no I in music, and so forth. All right? So these notes do not exist in the musical alphabet. So after we come to G, in order to continue on, we would go on to A, B, C, etc. So if we ask what note comes after G, the answer is going to be A. All right, so those are the 7 alphabet letters of the music alphabet. And just remember that after G, the note that comes after G is going to be A. So, the other thing I wanted to mention, because a lot of the audience here is going to be church musicians and perhaps a lot of church musicians who speak Spanish, we also have to learn the alphabet in the musical alphabet in solfege, okay? Because if you're speaking to a brother who speaks Spanish or a musician who speaks Spanish, you're not going to say to play en el tono de A, all right? So there's also different names for each of the alphabet. So a lot of you have heard do, el tono de do. So in the key of C, or the C note in the alphabet, is called do when speaking in Spanish. The note D in the musical alphabet is called re. The note E, or the letter in the musical alphabet, is called mi. The F in the musical alphabet is called fa. The G in the musical alphabet is called sol. The A is called la. And the B is called si. Now, in the States, if you're speaking in English, you would say T. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And the reason being, if we say C, it would be confusing when we talk about the letter C. So in English, we say T. But when working with in Spanish, you're going to say C. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do. So just keep that in mind. T will be for English and C will be for Spanish. Okay? So I wanted to throw that in there because we're not going to deal with the solfege in these sessions, but I do want you to be mindful that when you talk about notes and you start speaking with whoever your musicians are, whether they speak English or Spanish, that you can be able to use these 2 languages here. All right. So let's continue with the musical alphabet. One of the keys that you're going to need to know about the musical alphabet is knowing what notes come after. And it's not always going to start on A. So in our work, as we start doing these sessions, I will be asking you what comes after C, or what letter comes after C. Well, if you know your musical alphabet, A, B, C, D, you know that it would be D. All right? So the letter that comes after C is going to be D. Pretty simple, right? All right. So the next one is, what letter name would come after E? Well, you can say A, use your music alphabet, which is your most powerful tool. A, B, C, D, E, F. And don't be shy about using your musical alphabet to figure out the answers. Okay, so the letter that comes after E is going to be F. Let's do one more. Okay, what musical letter would come after B? And that's correct. It would be C. Take this one off. So the letter that comes after B is C. And we have to know the musical alphabet not just on the starting point of A, but in any starting point of the 7 letters of the alphabet. Because the songs don't always start on A. The melody doesn't always start on A, or a chord progression doesn't always start on A, or a scale doesn't always start on A. They're going to start in different letters, okay? So let's go to the next one and let's do some exercises with that. So let's say we're going to have, we're going to do our alphabet, but our starting point is going to be D. So let's do an alphabet train here, starting on D, and I'm going to have 7 letters only. So up here is my alphabet. So after D would be E. Oops, let me get my cursor here. After E in the alphabet would be F. After F, G. Now you would say, what comes after G when there's no H or I? Remember, after we finish on G, the next one, after we finish on G, we're going to start the sequence again on A. So after G, A will always come next. What comes after A? B. One more, C. Okay, so in the sequence of letters, if I was to start on D, it'd be D, E, F, G, A, B, C. All right, let's do a different starting point, and this time we're going to do on F. So what letter comes after F? G. After G, A. That's right, because after G, that's the last letter of our musical alphabet, we start the sequence again with A. Okay, so what comes after A? B. Next. C. Next. D. Next. E. Okay, what would come after E? F. And obviously, I would be back on my starting point, okay? Let's try it with another one. Let's try it with E. F. G. Remember what comes after G. That's right. A. B. C. Oops. And D. Okay, let's do another one starting on C. I'll give you a couple of seconds to do that one on your own. Okay, so after C comes D. Sure it doesn't erase my note. E. F, G, A, and B. Okay, so notice I have different starting points, but the alphabet will always be in the same order. Okay, just I have different starting points for each one. Let's do 3 more. After B, here's our alphabet here in the top. Okay, all right. So it would be C, D, E, F, G, A. Good. Let's start on G. What would be our next note if we started on G? Very good. A, B, C, D, E, and then F. Okay? And of course, our A1 would be B, C, just our regular musical alphabet. E, F, and G. Pretty simple. All of us know our alphabet. I think here I would say practice during the week, just starting on your alphabet, starting on different points. Say, I'm going to start on C. C, D, E, F, G, A, B. That would be the practice tool that you need to do. Why? Well, if you're practicing your scales and you're practicing your scale of A, well, that one's simple because it's just the regular alphabet. But let's say you're doing your scale of G, your G major scale. Okay, you would need to know that the scale is G, A, B, C, D, E, F. And you would need to be able to know the sequence of that scale. All right, and that's how we deal with the musical alphabet. The next point would be knowing the musical alphabet backwards. Okay, so music goes up in pitch and it also comes down back in pitch. And when it comes down back in pitch, we're dealing with the alphabet backwards. G, F, E, D, C, B, A. All right, say that with me. G, F, E, D, C, B, A. So I would say practice saying this one backwards. Okay, let's go to the next slide here. So if I say, what is the note that comes before letter C in the musical alphabet? You would say that it's B, because it comes, think of it going backwards. Okay. If I ask, what is the note that comes before letter E? You would say it is, oops, no, not duplicate. Sorry about that. It would be a D. Okay. Why? Because D comes before letter E, going backwards. All right. And then finally, if I was to say, what's the letter that comes before letter B, going backwards in the alphabet? And then you would say that it is A. Okay. So very important that we know our alphabet going backwards as well. So now let's do the same exercise, but this time we're going to go backwards. All right. So here's our alphabet. Okay, and we're going to be working with it, but backwards. And this time our starting point is going to be D. So here's D. What letter comes before D? That's right, C. Then it would be, put my C down here. Then it would be B, A. Now, in the regular musical alphabet, nothing comes before A, right? But in the musical alphabet, once we finish with A, we start the sequence again back on G. So in music, when we say what comes before A, we say G. We start the sequence of 7 letters again. And it would be F, and then it would be E. So the musical alphabet going backwards, starting on D, would be D, C, B, A, G, F, E. Okay, and why is this important? Again, because if you're doing a scale, just like it goes up, da 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 da, it also comes back down, and you need to be able to know your notes going backwards with the alphabet. D, C, B, A, G, F, E, D. Okay, all right, now let's do B going backwards. A, and what note comes before A in the musical alphabet? Okay, remember, we start back on the sequence on G. Good, and then we do F, E, D, and then C. Put this one back over here. Okay, so that is our sequence going backwards. Let's start on E. D comes before C, B, A, G, F. Very good. Okay. let's start on A. If A was my starting point and I'm going backwards, I would go backwards this way. So the note would be G. F would be backwards. Put it back here so it doesn't erase my letters. E. D comes before E. C comes before D, and then B. Okay, so that would be my alphabet going backwards starting on A. All right, let's do 3 more. If I was to start on C, it would be B, A, G, F, E, and then D. Could I keep going on? Yeah. The next one would be C, right? And then the pattern would just continue again. All right. All right, you go ahead and do G. I'll give you a couple of seconds. Starting backwards on G. Okay, so our note backwards from G would be F, E, D, C, B, A. All right, very good. One last one. We're now going to start with our last point, or our starting point, I'm sorry, on F. So here's my F in my alphabet, okay? Then going backwards would be E, D, C, B, A, and then G. Okay, so we went through all 7 of the alphabet note names and we went backwards and forwards. So I have a saying in my classroom that says practice makes things easier, and a good friend of mine added, and it makes it permanent. Okay, your goal for these sessions when it comes to either reading note music or understanding your chord progressions or music theory is to get fluency. You want it to be fluent and be able to operate on it very fast. So practice is going to be your best tool, okay? Practice makes things easier and it makes it permanent. So practice saying the note names going forwards, starting on different letter names. Start on A, start on B, start on C. Go through all 7 of them. Then this one might be easy, but I think the challenging one would be the one going backwards. Practice saying the note names going backwards. G, F, E, D, C, B, A. Now start on C. C, B, A, G, F, E, D. And that is your goal, is to get fluent saying the note names going backwards or forwards and then starting on different letter names. Why? Well, it's very important, okay? Why? Well, because we have to, because we're musicians, all right? It will help you to understand chord progressions once we move into that part of the sessions. It also will facilitate note reading on the music staff when we move to reading sheet music. And then it will also help you play your scales much faster. Doesn't matter if you're a vocalist or an instrumentalist, either one of these is going to help you. Okay? I hope you enjoyed today's session, and we'll see you on the next one.